Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the United States of a Movie podcast. We're the podcast that makes every Monday a fun day as we get together and we talk movies. But we have a point here at the United States of a Movie. We are the podcast that's trying to find one movie to define each state in these United States. We've already finished one trip around the states. We're currently on our second, and today we stop off in the great state of New York, where last time around, Wall Street, because apparently greed is good, took the victory. But this week, my amazing co-host brought some real random stuff to the table that I cannot wait to talk about. Let's get straight into it. Before we do that, let's welcome back Ryan Sandler. As always, buddy, looking fantastic. Welcome back to the show.
It is great to be here and finally landed on my home state episode. And it was really, really hard to pick a movie to best encapsulate my hometown.
You guys did it. I mean, it's basically two documentaries of what life is like in New York. Honestly, in some cases, you could almost say that New York was like a character in these momovies.
You could say that, but should you?
Well, you could say that again. And as always, you can say that again. Yeah. And as always, sitting in the middle of this movie, just cave in the center of Los Angeles, California, Will Hirsch, buddy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here. And for the rest of the podcast, I will be voiced by Don the Dragon Wilson. So this is not me. So I hope you guys enjoy this performance recorded years later.
Honestly, I mean, what does it take to earn the middle name of the Dragon? Like, I mean, that's quite the achievement.
Yeah, you got to star in a bunch of straight to video martial arts movies. That's the only way to achieve that title.
All right, we'll see you later.
So get started. Yeah.
With a better prep, we should have just got someone to sit in Will's chair and mouth whatever Will was saying.
For the probably could get Don the Dragon Wilson on Cameo,
You're not wrong. And I'll tell you what, we are currently referencing a movie that is one of the craziest sort of just movie production stories, honestly, that we've ever sort of come across. It was like a fever dream. Will, tell us about the movie that we all watched like at the same time last night and texted each other 1,000 times.
And take your time.
Well, if you can imagine a movie like Miami Connection, a movie like Samurai Cop, but somehow the action is 1,000 times worse. You would have New York Ninja. The most amazing piece of trash that I fell absolutely in love with the moment I saw it.
How did you hear about this movie?
This is one that came up. It's sort of Vinegar Syndrome is the distribution company that found it. And once they kind of put this project together, because they had found essentially a bunch of reels of footage that were unedited. And when they went through it, they're like, oh, this is an entire film. But they had no script. There was no sound with any of it. And they couldn't even find the filmmakers involved. They could not find the director. And I think they had a list of the actors, maybe. But that's all they had to go on. And they somehow assembled this movie into, I think a pretty coherent movie given the circumstances. Kudos to them.
I was shocked. Yeah. And on top of that too, I didn't know any of this going into. You talked about this film before, and it was refreshing. We agreed on doing a group watch. Our schedules were kind of conflicting at first, and I was able to. I think I watched the first 60 seconds of this movie, and I had to stop. And I'm like, no, we have to do a group watch of this because it's insane. But all of the actors they got to do the voiceover for the characters of the film line up shockingly well. So really impressed by that.
Let's sort of boil it down. So basically, so New York Ninja, it's not dissimilar as a story to one of our favorite movies here on United States of Movie, which is Miami Connection, which, if you remember, it showed a couple of times in Florida, never got reshowed. Some people discovered it, put it out, and people loved it. This one's a bit different. Like Will is saying, it's a movie that got shot in 1984, but released in 2021 when they discovered 6 to 8 hours of these reels, aligned it as a movie, but it had no plot and they had no script. And so they just kind of guessed as to what people might be saying. And the result is, it's a piece of art. The debate is whether it's a good piece of art, but the fact that anyone's able to do that, take 6 to 8 hours and go, guys, we're just going to try and make this movie. What do you think they're saying? And some of the plot points we will get into. I mean, I just don't even know where to begin. I don't even know.
I mean, and it's such an impressive undertaking, like from an editing standpoint, to essentially rewrite a script to fit that edit, and then to redo all the voiceover for it, and to have it turn out like a proper movie is really impressive.
Yeah, because there's another movie like Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Remember that?
I was thinking of that the
right,
whole time.
Yeah.
So there's that where they've just taken scenes and added into basically a movie they've written. But like Ryan, like you're saying, no, this is like Lord of the Rings by comparison for the amount of work they had to do.
Yeah. And all the soundtrack was completely redone, which I thought was fucking awesome. It's a really impressive tech. Like I'm wondering where they like found this film.
Definitely in a dumpster or at a crime scene. Like this, I think.
No, it was in a mythical cave.
Yeah.
Like a sunbeam on it. Indiana Jones had to run away after picking that shit up.
That's the movie. I mean,
I think eventually they did find where the director is right now, but he is like so not a part of this. I don't think he was interested in being a part of this. So we don't really know what his story was. Last I checked, I mean, there might have been some updates, but
so John Liu. So the name is John Liu. John Liu is a Taiwanese actor, martial artist. I did a bit of sort of low budget Taiwanese movies. He's 81, so he is still around. The last time he was in a movie was like 1988. He was in a cameo appearance in 2006. He's done a bunch of movies, but I mean, honestly, the guy is like, I don't know, how would you say, Bruce Lame?
Ricky, oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
Wacky Chan, we could keep going, but it's like it's a fully like realized idea, much again exactly like Miami Connection. It's this guy that wanted to make a movie, says we're going to make a movie, has put in the effort to make a movie, and has used every little shortcut they can think of. But,
and I think it adds so much to the charm of it too. Like there's a lot of like heart and soul that went into not only obviously the redubbing and the remaking of it, but like a lot of heart and soul in the original footage they had too. Like they were seeking out to make a fun New York based action movie.
They didn't know how to do that, but they tried very hard.
People are trying. I mean, they're putting the effort. I mean, there are certain shots in the movie I love where a completely random person sort of walks through the shot and looks dead down the camera.
It feels very like student film. Like they were shooting super guerrilla style wherever they fucking could.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff like with the helicopters and shit. Like these are some like big time moves. Like that was really impressive.
This movie was a very New York City movie. Now, like, we didn't talk about this last time, because there's New York and there's New York City, but it's almost impossible to separate the two because New York City is such an iconic place with only 1 million movies made.
It opens with the World
Shot
Trade
of the Twin
Center.
Towers, exactly. Shots of the Twin Towers, and it's brilliant. So, does anyone want to try and take a stab at describing to people what the plot of this fucking movie is? Because it's mind blowing to me.
It's I only understand the A plot, which is a man's wife is in New York in the 80s. They're kidnapping women. They're abducting women and bringing them to a sex dungeon. And this guy's basically seeking revenge because his wife is murdered.
In the first 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's right. As we all know, Ryan loves any movie that starts with the murder of a child. In this case, it's the murder of an unborn child. Basically the movie opens
That's like,
and like yeah, dude, yeah. Ryan was like, "This is the best movie ever." The movie
that's the only
opens.
time I've seen it. My brain couldn't process it. I had to like pause the movie and like take a beat.
It's like the main character, John Liu, I guess is just his name. He meets with his wife, and they have a scene where I love you, we're married, I'm pregnant, see you later. Very next scene, she is murdered just immediately by a guy called like Freddie. Like
she was trying to foil an abduction in in broad daylight. We should point out that every single thing in this movie takes place in broad daylight.
Yeah, well, actually,
to a point where you wonder the film is shot in 12 hours.
It's amazing because yes, this is a sort of martial arts vengeance movie. It's basically Batman in the day. Instead of a guy dressed in the dark, right, with a lot of skills, he's dressed in white during the day with mediocre skills. But in many ways, like sometimes we were texting each other going, "This is just like the opening of the Batman. This is just like this movie. This is just like that movie."
For it to be done in '84, it's pretty wild to see. Like you get a taste of the wonderful New York City subway system in the '80s. It's just
my God,
wall to wall graffiti, just awful.
Well, there are 60 characters in this movie. 8 of them, I think, are kidnapped women. 10 of them are vigilante children, and the rest of them are rapists and murderers. And that's the only thing. Like, as far as this movie is concerned, 95% of anyone in New York at this time is trying to rape and or murder you.
And none of them are actors. Just in the traditional sense.
I mean, you could tell that they're bad guys because they wear the most random assortment of gear. Sometimes they have masks, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they wear jock straps over their skin tight sweaters.
Sometimes they've got bands just wrapped around their faces.
They looked like what a kid would draw as like a henchman or like a failed WWF wrestler from that period.
It's like you're playing a video game and you can create a character and everyone's just hitting randomizer. But it's like it doesn't have a very good algorithm, so it's like
we're like off-brand Street Fighter villains. I think I said.
I was gonna say it looks like the game Double Dragon got drunk and just created these characters.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
it's just it is, and we're honestly, guys. Well, cool. We described the A plot. Someone try and explain to me the B plot.
I've got this.
Okay.
So, we've all seen movies about nuclear powered sex beasts, right? Like so I don't have to explain that to the audience. So we're all on the same page. Our villain is like the most insane. That had to have suffered the most. Like I'm willing to bet there must have been more with this character that was filmed. I should hope, because he doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He is sometimes he is melting, sometimes he's not. He's kind of a dark man. But like that comes in way late into the movie. He is also a sex pest. And he's just got like the weirdest glasses and a pen.
That's really cool though.
That can
and a pen.
The weirdest
that's right.
pen.
A pen that shoots darts and kills people.
Right? Yeah.
Honestly, I was sitting there going, are they sure this was from the same movie until the very end when eventually characters do come together? Because it's like we're just watching 2 movies. Oh, by the way, we have the nuclear-powered plutonium man who just, honestly, this actor, I'll give him credit. Like when he's opening this thing and it's like kryptonite in his eyes and he's doing all this stuff like some sort of John Carpenter movie or something like that. And it's like,
it didn't fit with the rest of the film very well. That was my only thing. It
doesn't fit with the world very well.
It's just it's a bizarre swing that they tried to make fit together in the re-edit of this. Mm-hmm. And you're probably right. There must be more to it, but that was my disconnect. Was like I didn't care about his whole side of that.
Wait! But we forgot to talk about his driver, Rat Tail.
Elijah Wood's first performance? Yeah.
Who is like, I don't know, like the opposite. Like I said, it's like Batman, but imagine if like
Alfred,
it's just evil Alfred who just likes to chew on his rat tail sometimes. And we have to at some point talk about the drunken sword fight that comes at the end. But before we do, we have to talk about 2 things. One, if you're a fan of Hong Kong action movies, like Golden Harvest, Hong Kong action movies back in the day, that's how I grew up. I'm from Hong Kong. I loved all this kind of stuff. And you're watching these movies which are dubbed over in almost exactly the same way. You know, the Cantonese doesn't match up with the Cantonese. The sound effects are hilarious, but the action is top notch. It's Jackie Chan levels, Bruce Lee levels. It's sort of kind of some of the best action you've ever seen. This movie, it's incredible how bad the action is.
When you just said martial arts earlier, martial arts is in heavy quotations there. Like it's
martial finger painting.
Yeah, exactly. It's
almost a hate crime.
Yeah, it's Ryan. You definitely had the line of the night, which is where you said he fights like Bruce Lee nowadays.
Oh yeah, he fights like. He moves like Bruce Lee currently.
Yeah, it's just it's incredible. Like it's in every it's the exact opposite of Jackie Chan choreography, which is like, how do we use this environment? How do we tell a story? How do we just create humor and action? In this case, like, I'm going to stand in the middle. And then everybody, like, again, the number one sort of problem with the bad guys is they know you never attack a guy from behind. You always wait until...
It's a cowardly way to do it,
And like, you know, the speed of Bruce Lee or Donnie Yen or Jackie Chan, in this case, it's like punch, punch, kick. And I'll give the guy credit. He can kick. And he's got like some moves in a way, because he can do stuff, you know, he's really good with one leg, not so much the other. But it's just, at least, I don't know, put the movie in fast forward or something, because it's completely funny.
That was also, I wish that hit a little harder. It was just really bad. Like all the henchmen, he kept getting into the like essentially he decides to become this New York ninja to seek vengeance for those who killed his wife. And in doing so, he uncovers this plot of them abducting women. I guess he works for the news team.
Yeah, the irony is apparently he's a sound engineer, and that's the irony of this movie having no sound is possibly my favorite part.
Yeah, it's unclear if he had that job at the beginning of the movie.
Unclear,
it's not. When he's like on the scene with Randy Rydell, the news reporter lady, which I'm positive that's her name. Now, I've seen the movie like 2 or 3 times. It's the strangest name for a reporter.
Randy Rydell. Yeah, it's
Randy
definitely
Rydell.
not a porn star name.
Right. But yeah, so that's all unclear. And as far as like what the bad guys who are kidnapping these women, like what their ultimate goal is, it is like the screenwriter, if it is John Liu who did write this.
I believe so.
Yeah.
It is unclear that he understands why people would abduct a human being in the first place.
Right.
Like he never learned like what's the reasoning behind that, because all the women are just kind of chained up, usually without a shirt on, but they all have like bras or something, and they're just there.
Right.
Nobody's
what are they
really doing anything
them for.
It's not. Yeah, they're not being sold. They're not. It's not human. There's no profit.
Are they kidnapping them for the glasses villain? Like, is that what his shtick was?
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to be. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be like the one who's using these women. Because he's working with the Interpol guy,
right?
Who doesn't know works for Interpol. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I'm from Interpol.
I'm surprised you don't remember doing the voiceover for this, because you were great at it.
Thank you very much.
Normal human tea drinking. I mean, everything in this movie is so bad, but like I said, there's so much charm to it that it's so bad it's good.
It's compelling because I mean the thing about it is, as much as I can just make fun of John Liu, it's just your plot makes no sense, and your action's really not that good. He still wrote, produced, and shot a movie in 94 in its entirety, so he can go and tell me to go shut up, because I've never done anything like that in my life. And you're right, it's like it was all there. The effort's put in. I mean, granted, like Will says, I don't think they know what they're doing half the time, but they did it. They did it. And the fact that someone 20 years later decided to make that dream a reality is what's so wonderful about this.
Compelled to track down the other 6.5 hours of footage.
What were those? Yeah.
Mostly attempted rape, if I had to guess.
That's probably true.
Most of the movie is. It's like scene. Let's do another crime scene.
But, you know, it really is the movie that we all would have made if we had the resources when we were like 10 years old.
Oh yeah,
it's exactly that kind of movie. Same level of sophistication, same like way they would film it. And I think that's where the charm is coming from, is like everybody who's been into these kind of movies, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, if I was a kid, I would have made the same thing. It's
Someone's-
just funny
yeah.
that an adult made the same
Someone's
movie.
making a ninja movie from memory. Like, it's
Right.
a LaCroix flavored ninja movie.
It's like, well, it's like in the same way Miami Connection has just got that charm. Like, where in the last 20 minutes it becomes really violent. And then you also know that the guy in the white ninja costume is definitely not the actor that we've had in the movie the rest of the time.
Right.
And it's got that kind of like moments and things in it that you're just like,
I did wonder in this if that guy was actually playing the ninja.
There were a couple shots where it definitely was not him.
I think
You mean
there's
the
two,
roller
yeah.
skating shots?
Definitely.
Well, I'll be damned if I don't think John Liu did all his own roller skating.
But like one thing that is glaring about the movie, we mentioned it already, is that if you're gonna make a stylish, like, you know, vigilante ninja movie,
Do it in the daytime.
yeah, exactly. And you just know it's like, no, sorry, John, we don't have the budget for lights.
Yeah.
And like I think
Right.
that the moment that really stands out is in the last like 10 minutes where there's the drunken sword fight between Rat Tail and the ninja, where they clearly are running out of light. They have
The back half of the movie,
Yeah.
like the whole lighting switches when they're under.
It's just
yeah.
they don't have lights. They don't know how to affect the aperture of the camera to let more light in. There's sort of
Right.
the graininess comes,
Yeah.
and I just love it. It's just like, guys, we got to do it. We got to do it right now.
There's only
Shoot it.
so you got the open of the movie, then it's him in mourning, and it's also his birth. It's his birthday. They're celebrating his birthday on the rooftop. You get this amazing scream, and you get the reveal that his late wife left him with this birthday gift of 2 swords. Sure.
Yep.
I guess.
and then you just get a break, and it says like several months later, and then or is that after? Yeah, then he's
Honestly,
guess
I don't know. I mean, honestly, that's like neither does the editor. He's like, I'm going to say that this is several months later,
and then you get the other, like there's the C plot with the little boy that he adopts.
A little boy at the beginning who keeps getting like roughed up by bad guys, keeps running into people who are clearly just right in front of him, but if they're out of frame, they don't exist.
Right.
And then honestly, for a minute, I thought they blew that kid away, and I was just like, I was laughing
In broad daylight, I was
out loud. Bring the kid back, blew him away. No, he's all right. And then yes, the C plot of him mobilizing the Children's Defense Force.
Well, even before that, my point is like there's one scene that's actually shot at night because it then skips to Halloween, where it's shot.
Oh, it's real Halloween. That's right.
It's
in New
it's
York.
shot
Yeah.
this huge block party, and it's the only scene shot at night that doesn't contain a ninja.
Which is such a huge missed opportunity. I can't believe it didn't dawn on them to be like, wait, the perfect opportunity to have somebody
But
run
they
around
use
in a
that
ninja
as an
costume.
excuse for the villain to wear the mask to then hypnotize.
Great. They drop in that, by the way, he hypnotizes people as well.
It's too many things.
Then cuts to, for some reason, giant swinging breasts.
Hell yeah.
Sex in car with nuclear powered man who starts melting and she starts melting. And it's just at this point, I'm like, why do I not have any mushrooms on me right now? Like, I just feel like it's the kind of movie that I think drugs were invented for, because it's gonna make more sense. Because it was just like, I was like, I am depressingly sober right now.
I couldn't help but think of like getting to see this in a theater with other fucking psychopaths.
2,000 people, yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be like, yeah, it's like an Alamo like movie party, and
For
everyone's
sure.
dressed up as
Oh,
ninjas.
yeah.
It is. It's up there with like you said, Miami Connection. And it's up there with The Room, Ricky O that we always mention. It's just, I can see why it became this like cult thing. It's a shame it took, 30 something years for
Yeah,
it to.
but Miami Connection was the same.
Right.
You know, the same but different, but the same. And I think like how many other of these kind of movies are out there? The
We haven't
80s
seen
was a
Samurai
time-
Cop yet, so we don't know.
But yeah, the
I
80s
mean-
was a time, man, where you could just you get a bit of money, and like, the economy was good, and there's a lot of cocaine, and
And they're all in eggs. That's where all the cocaine is.
Please, someone explain to me the fucking powder eggs.
I think that was just a prop they needed to use. He's again a ninja, so and it's not like he's a Bruce Wayne by day where he's got these unlimited resources. He's just a guy that is a sound tech for a local news.
So he
rag.
can only afford egg. That's all he's got.
Yeah. So they were just hollowed out like smoke bombs that he would use, but you can
People
clearly
like,
tell it's a
my eyes are
cracked
itching a
egg,
little
yeah.
bit.
When he
I'm
throws it at the
mildly
guy that's
irritated.
clearly wearing like huge glasses, and the guy's like, ah,
Yeah.
it's nuts. But
I
yeah, I
mean,
mean, he
yeah,
uses every weapon in his arsenal. He uses shurikens with his name on them. You know, now at this point in the film, like the New York, the New York Ninja is becoming so popular that people are making T-shirts and wearing them.
Yeah, he's got merch. It's
yeah.
incredible.
I love New York Ninja.
Right.
There's a couple of like it's hilariously well executed reverse shots, you know,
Yeah.
enabling the ninja to do moves that are somewhat impossible that I actually just I very much enjoyed. They were just like, no, no, respect. I mean, it's terrible, but I loved it. Brilliant, imaginative. Go for
I
it.
mean, the flip into the
The
back,
back
of
of
the
the
car,
car.
is pretty amazing.
Impeccable. I've never seen Batman do that shit.
Yeah. No, Batman, you think Batman's walking around with like, a dirty tennis net he found at the side of the road?
When you called that out, it was fucking good. And it's like it's so bad because the four guys that he benets are just standing there holding the net up. They're not like trapped.
No.
Like
They're more
like,
just confused. They're like, did he
"Do I have
really
to
just
keep
throw a
holding
net?
this?"
Oh,
Like,
we
yeah.
also actually this is one of the best parts. I think Will, you were the one that pointed out. It's like he's just so lucky this entire movie took place in a time before guns were invented.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when guns do turn up, all they ever do is say freeze, don't move. This
Yeah.
movie could have been much shorter if
And they're,
anyone
like,
just
yeah.
shot him.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
so clearly like toy cap guns too.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you put the little caps.
You could
and
see a
like,
plastic line along the top
oh
of
yeah,
one of them.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's all fun.
But what's funny is the first time a gun does show up, they do shoot the ninja through the heart,
yeah.
but the ninja is so good that he moves the wound up to his
Yes.
shoulder.
He
Yeah.
moves the wound about 3 inches over and then pulls an immaculate bullet out.
Yeah,
and
just
then
not a case like just a full on 9
Yeah.
millimeter bullet. Like,
Yeah.
just perfect. And then the small child managed to take a bullet to the spine, but he's good.
yeah, and they have this really will they won't they kind of
Yeah.
scene together.
Yeah, it's definitely it's the one part of the movie where you're like, hold on.
Are they gonna fuck?
Yeah,
Well, and then
it's
the
real
very
upsetting.
I think the very next scene is him and wearing like a speedo stick fishing in the East River, which is like oh
with a
god,
really
it's like,
peculiar
when you
technique.
say he's like he'd be the first ninja to die of hepatitis. Or-
Yeah. Just the dirtiest water. And he's
Even in
like,
the
"I'm going
80s,
fishing
you
in here."
don't do that.
Oh.
He's not at Jones Beach. He's like in the fucking East River. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It is painfully fun. Like, and the way he's fishing, like he's just bent at the waist, face down, just stabbing, like just in any opportunity, like to do something cool and ninja like. He always finds a way to make it suck. It's
Yeah.
just the best way. Oh, and
But the locations that they're shooting on are so quintessentially New York City.
Yeah.
Where he's like underneath the fucking George Washington Bridge or whatever. Like just it's cool to see all that pre 9/11, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
abandoned industrial areas, just on the streets of New
the
York.
one
in a
the
subway.
one intersection with the Chase Bank in the background. That was like the one their base camp was.
Yeah. Well, like along the same lines is that there was definitely only 8 guys playing bad guys, and so that's why they had such crazy
different
costumes.
outfits, yeah.
They just like, all right, you take that thing, and I'm gonna put that on, and now I'm a different bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's just,
And the level of weapons they were using is just pieces of plywood or like a taped wiffle ball bat.
yeah, a wooden knife. Oh, and a guy throws it up and he drops it and just
Well, he was a cowboy, so
Yeah.
yeah.
you
It's
said
right.
it was very village people.
Village people,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
lots of village people were going around with sexual assault on their mind.
Period.
and-
Appropriate.
yeah, honestly, I mean, like for me, it was just like, God, man, the New York subway, what a shithole.
I mean, the other thing I love about this movie is how it teases future movies in not just LA Ninja at the end, but the third movie in the franchise, Ninja 3: The Domination, just shows up right there.
Oh, that's not
already
a real
in
movie.
theaters.
Oh, there are no, and it's yeah.
okay.
One of the ninja movies is on. Like, I mean, let's also talk about like the worst reporter slash like videographer. Like they're just running around, getting into the middle of everything. They just
Not helping.
no. And then when they mess up his car, he's like, I know what we should do, guys. Us 2 guys should go and accost those 12 guys.
But
And then he abandons the woman to her.
That
Just
scene
whatever.
where it's like
Yeah.
the 6 of them actually flipping a fucking car over and beating the shit out. Like that's when like the some of the budgetary things in this are bewildering to me. Like
Well,
the
it's because
ability.
you
Yeah.
assume that they actually owned that car. They probably just like, it's an abandoned car, guys. Fuck it up.
They filmed an actual crime in progress. They're like, put it in the movie.
Yeah. A lot of it does kind of feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ryan, you brought it up a little bit earlier. Like the soundtrack is an absolute banger.
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
absolute it slaps.
Really good
It's
like
on
dark
Spotify.
synthwave. Yeah, I know. I was listening to it earlier.
Yeah.
Shout out to Voyager. Good stuff.
And you know, and it does also have like, you know, the movie sort of like has some credits because I love how it's sort of like redirected by, you know, re-edited by, and then it just has a disclaimer going, we can't give credit to people because there is no information. Best of luck to you all. And I just wonder how many people are watching this movie going, is that Grandpa?
Is it like a leftovers situation where they started filming this movie and then they all fucking just disappeared into the
Right.
ether and no one
Yeah.
knows?
Maybe
Like,
that's what
it's
happened.
so I have more questions about the originality of this film than I do of actually watching the movie.
Well,
Like,
you know what, you're right, because what I mean is like the fact that it's been done and come out, you think
why
there'd be
this
more-
movie? Like,
Right, but you think there'd be more information. You think more people
Yeah.
would come forward going, yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me. It's
right.
like, no, I think like you're right, everyone just died.
Is it like The Ring where 7 days later you
Yeah,
fucking-
everybody.
Yeah.
Just like
There's a reason why John Liu is hanging out in like the forest somewhere. You know, he's just like
avoiding. He's
Yeah.
avoiding the curse. No. I don't want to invoke that. Don't want to invoke that. But
yeah.
I absolutely recommend everyone should watch this movie. Get a group of people together and watch this
Yeah.
movie. Make it a drinking game of some kind.
Anytime you see an I Heart New York sticker, you take a fucking shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll die.
Yep. The Plutonium Man will show up, and
It is like, I know we bring this up all the time, but it has that like Garth Marenghi budget.
Mhm.
Like
yes,
everything, the knives are rubber. It's so it's like like held together with like gaffer tape.
The voiceovers are wrong and kind
Yeah.
of strange.
yeah,
But they work. Like
Totally work.
it wasn't any worse than listening to the voiceover in like Rumble in the Bronx, for example.
right.
100%.
No, and I think it's because everyone they got to do the voiceover, they're all
They're
people who
actual,
have been in like martial arts action movies before. Like Cynthia Rothrock is,
I couldn't believe
you
it
know,
when I saw
is
it. It's like-
the lady cop, which
Your favorite character.
yeah, the one I actually had a crush on. Yeah,
God, she
Yeah.
was hilarious. Oh
she's
my
so
God.
yeah. We all know the one rule of undercover cops is you wear your badge.
Always wear a badge.
with you. Yeah,
And this movie does that thing too, where anyone in an action sequence is a professional martial artist, knows how to wield multiple swords.
yeah.
And
Every
then-
single person.
And yet none of them know actual martial arts.
No,
It's
I'm
like-
convinced the Rat Tail seemed like he knew some moves.
Okay,
hard to
but
say.
let's talk about it. Let's talk about the giant culminating sword fight between our ninja and Rat Tail, where at some point Rat Tail just starts apparently trying to do drunken sword fighting, and it just
To a point where John Luce calls out and says,
Yeah.
the drunken sword fight. Like,
Yeah.
the drunken technique, and
Oh,
it just
that
kind
one?
of it's like doing the worm while standing, and then eventually he goes, "You're dead."
Yeah, There's one slash to the chest. That's it. He's done. But like,
They're running out of daylight. You can tell.
yeah, but like that, it's such a funny scene because when he's doing, he's just waving all around, just kind of like stumbling, and it's like, if you've seen something like Drunken Master, like the fighting style. It's not like
Yeah,
you're
that's true.
actually supposed to be like wacky waving around. There's like actually a thought behind it. So this guy clearly didn't know that. He must have been somebody who the director knew who had a rapier store.
Yeah.
Because he has
I'm
more
sorry,
than one
this
was-
movie
rapier.
could be any rapier.
Oh, yeah. You even said it on the text, or like I couldn't help but notice like the Power Rangers type of action sequences.
Oh, I said like it's rare to find people who the putties from Power Rangers can
Right.
like beat their ass. Like it's just,
Yeah.
it's such incompetent action that I love it. Yeah, once you guys watch Samurai Cop, you will be like, it is the Matrix compared to this. Like
Yeah.
it's insane.
But we were like talking about the action. The action in Miami Connection is like a much more prestigious film comparing the two.
It
Well,
is
YK
now.
Kim is an actual martial
Right, like,
artist.
God, we need to
It's
get
like
John Liu and
Lawrence of
YK Kim
Arabia.
together. Yeah. Get John Liu and YK Kim together for
Yes.
LA Ninja.
God, those two universes do need to cross
Well,
over.
well, look, Samurai Cop is set in LA, so maybe
Yeah, it
that
is.
is the LA sort of ninja. Maybe we have to do a ninja special, guys. Maybe we have to sort of like make this,
American Ninja 3, let's
yeah,
go.
United States of Ninja.
There already is one, but
Yeah.
But like, oh my God, that's this movie is. I mean, I I enjoyed it so much while at the
Mm.
same time. I mean, like I said, I think the best way to do it is the way we did, or even better, is have
Yeah.
everybody in the same place and just talk about it, watch it, comment,
Yeah, for
just have
sure.
fun, make fun. Like the editor, the new editor said, he goes, there is deliberate comedy in the editing and there is unintentional comedy, but you
yep.
know what? I do appreciate though that he said I still tried to respect what I was doing. I tried to
Yeah.
respect the process. You know, there'd been talk about should we shoot some stuff, and he goes, no, let's. What would I do if I was an editor in 1984 and this was the footage I had and this was my job? So he's like, yeah, it's silly and it's ridiculous, but it's also I took it seriously and tried to make
Yeah.
a movie, and I think
There's so much authenticity behind that, like in that
Yeah.
creative process to keep it as close to the original vision, whatever that might be.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have the same charm if they tried to like do a goof with it, or they try to turn it into a comedy or
Yeah.
something. Like I think they went the right approach, which is like, no, let's be
There's more
sincere.
humor. Yeah, there's more humor in the seriousness of it versus if you were to do
Right.
like a Kung Pao type of thing.
so.
Yeah.
Bearing that in mind, actually, perfect segue to move over to our other movie. The other movie being a pure satirical comedy that just goes for the comedy. And honestly, I'm gonna find a way of connecting this segue because it's a big opinion that I've got about this movie. But let's talk about They Came Together. Ryan, you showed me this movie during the pandemic. Now, we've talked about this because this is definitely one of those movies that was the third movie we watched that day during a
It's
pandemic when we
possible,
were
yeah.
very, very heavy drinkers. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so I know I saw this
Back when
movie.
I was cool.
Yeah. But at this time, like, so this honestly, this movie was pretty much like a first watch for me because I know I
Mhm.
was half asleep when we
Yeah.
watched this the first time, but I remember laughing a lot. So tell us about this movie.
Before I even say this movie, I have to get into like just the history. The history of like this type of humor for me. So growing up, like as a child of like the 90s, I was obsessed with like Mr. Show, and Will relates with me here. Mr. Show, The
Yep.
State. Shout
Mhm.
out to one of my best friends from New York, Joe, who turned me on to Stella, which is like David Wayne, Michael Showalter, and Michael Ian Black. So this like genre of this really offbeat, weird type of sketch comedy that kind of now I could see why I'm like, oh, I know why I resonate so much with like a Tim Robinson type of show. So
Yeah.
when I like was obsessed with David Wayne, I love Children's Hospital, like all of his stuff. When this came out, I think because he did Role Models, he did Wanderlust with also with Paul Rudd and uh,
Chick from
lady,
Friends.
yeah, uh, what's her name?
Married to Brad Pitt.
Yeah, yeah,
Rachel.
yeah.
Jennifer something?
Jennifer
Uh,
Lawrence?
Matt LeBlanc is who we're thinking of.
That's the one. There you go.
Jen,
there we go.
Jennifer Janiston, yes. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, so anyway, like then he did this movie and it was like it wasn't like your typical thing. It was just a pastiche on all of these fucking romantic comedies that are set in New York, and it hits every beat so well. And it's a movie I would probably fucking hate, but it's one of my favorite comedies. And did you already say the title?
Yeah, they came together.
And so like I love this movie so much. I remember we were all hanging out. I remember watching it with I think you and Zen were watching it with us at the time. And I hold this movie so close to my chest because it's one of my favorites. But it's like even watching it again, I've seen it so many times. I watched it probably 2 weeks ago, and I watched it 2 days ago just again to refresh my memory for this episode. I fucking love this movie so much.
So this,
It's so
yeah,
good.
this movie is so it's by the same sort of guys that did Wet Hot American Summer, which we did almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Here on the
Yeah.
podcast. And it is wild and it's out there. And honestly, if it wasn't last week, it was the week before. But we were talking about how, we were talking about how there used to be really great comedies. I think it's when we were talking 10 Things I Hate About You, but we were talking about the
Yeah.
idea of the Naked Gun. We were
Yes.
talking about
Yeah.
things like Airplane. We were talking about like the Zucker Brothers style.
We
sort of
talked about it with
comedies.
In the Line of Fire, like how that felt like a Zucker Brothers movie without the comedy.
Yeah.
Right, but it's like how then they got really lazy. I think the last great one was basically Scary Movie, and then from that point on, it was just a law of diminishing returns. This movie, as we're watching it, it is just everything is a joke. Everything. It's like every it's like stand-up comedy. Every 6 to 7 seconds is another joke, a visual
Or a
joke,
visual gag,
a
yeah.
background joke, ridiculous thing. It's like it's almost like
Fucking
this
cowboy
is a movie,
switch, yeah.
a
Yeah.
look down camera kind of
Yeah.
vibe. It's a completely self-aware movie. It is not unlike Dewey Cox.
Right.
We talked about that being the movie that ruined musical biopics, because it
This is
takes
that movie,
every
yeah.
single thing and skewers it. This makes fun of every single romantic comedy cliche. It makes fun of every single sort of like holiday romantic comedy. What's that channel that does, they put 50 of them out a year, romantic
Oh, the
comedy?
Hallmark?
Spice
or
Channel?
Hallmark,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
right.
Oh, wait, no.
Right. And it's even shot in that way as well. Like it's shot in a sort of like TV movie way. Now let me explain why I think the movie didn't work.
All right. Cancel podcast. We're done.
Okay, it works as a comedy. All right, it definitely, and it's very funny. But this is why I think the movie didn't do well, and the movie doesn't have the legs it does. The reason it's got people like you guys that love it and have seen it a million times. All right, I'm watching it and I realize is what it's done is it's made a mistake, because what it's doing is it's making too much fun of the genre. You've alienated, you're telling everyone that likes romantic comedies that they're stupid. They never, now stick with me here, because what I mean is like when you do a pastiche, some of the best ones like Airplane is making fun of the disaster movies, but you still care about Ted Stryker and the woman. You still care about the drama of the airplane being up in the air with the naked gun. It's a total spoof, but you've still got the detective and he's still trying to hold the thing. It's like when we did what's the Cabin in the Woods, right? It's a total spoof, but it's also a good scary movie. This one it's so caught up in making fun and having fun, they forgot to make us actually care about whether they fell in love. And that's the thing, that because they alienate everyone that loves romantic comedies, instead of going, no, I love romantic comedies and this is the best one, while making fun of it. Dewey Cox does that. This one does not. It's telling everyone that loves a Hallmark romantic comedy that they're a fucking idiot. And that's why I think the movie,
I mean, that's the point,
crushed.
but yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's what you're saying is it's you guys telling me that The Proposal is a bad movie, but I'm right because it's a good movie. I see. Okay, I'm on board with this now.
But
You're right. Like this
that
movie
was my
really
theory.
this movie really does skewer all of those films. And I think specifically it's
You Got Mail's
You Got
the
Mail,
big
yeah,
one.
because for sure. But or it's like really any romantic comedy that was set in New York in like the past 20 some odd years.
Yeah, you could even say that New York is a character in the movie.
You could say that again.
And I love the setup. It's their two couples at a dinner explaining the story of how they met, and it's like Bill Hader and oh my god,
and Ellie Camper. Yeah,
Ellie
and
Camper,
I totally forgot Bill Hader was in this movie. It had been a while since I've seen this. Man, he kills it.
He kills everything.
So good.
Honestly, just everything. The more I see him in, like the more I love. And like I was watching some incredible behind the scenes of how it was a behind the scenes documentary about how they make South Park. And I didn't realize that he was a writer on South Park. It was just so funny watching them riff. But yeah, I mean, like honestly, this cast is stacked. Paul Rudd, Amy Poehler, Bill Hader, Kobe Smulders, Ellie Kemper, Michael Ian Black, so good. Jason Mantzoukas, classic. I mean, just cracking me up. Randall Park pops up. Tiona Paris. I mean, she's like, WandaVision. She's now on like Marvel movies.
She plays a character named Wanda.
Yeah. You've got Christopher Maloney, great. Ed Helms, Jack McBrayer, Keenan Thompson, like the bit where they're playing basketball. And I love the bit where Jack McBrayer goes, do you not maybe understand how you take the small lessons from each of us here, combine those? Like, it's great, right?
There's so many like runaway bits where anytime a character like looks back and says thanks, or anytime a character looks back and says, wait, shit, I still fucking do that. Like, my favorite.
It does. It's doing it all really well. They should have just put the romantic bit in there. Just even if it's stupid, make us care. And
I see what you mean. Like you can tell that the filmmaker, that David Wayne, doesn't like the genre. Whereas the Zucker brothers, they love cop movies. So Naked Gun is like a really good,
Yeah.
also works as a cop movie. So I understand. I do think this movie is insanely funny. But I can see where you're coming from, and I
It's like
think I might
Galaxy
even agree.
Quest and Star
Yeah.
Trek. You know what I mean? It's like it's done from a place of love, but let's almost make fun. And I know, Will, I know you don't like it, but this is how Zen and I described Lower Decks. Is it's a comedy, but it loves Star Trek, and they no, we're gonna make fun of it, but we love it. And some of they've got like their season finale episodes, some great Star Trek in it, some great action. Like we're like, dude, this is sick. And that's when I was watching this, and we're in the last sort of like bit. We're in the last sort of act, and that's when I just clicked together because I'm like, nah, man, because I remember watching Naked Airplane, and I'm really invested. Naked Airplane. I'm really invested in Ted Stryker and what's her face, and like they have those. And there'll be a scene that's kind of serious, and then it'll be, of course, surrounded.
Well, this
by
has that, and then they throw it all away. They're like, well, we dated for a while, it didn't work out.
And we just then we just.
That's the bit where Michael Shannon and Jeffrey D. Morgan show up in the last 4 minutes of the movie as Spike and Frank, respectively. Yeah.
But I think Paul Rudd he's such a good choice for this.
Yeah.
Like
not overtly Jewish,
yeah. Just you're kind of good looking, it's kind of
so
Jewish, but not
silly.
overtly.
Oh God, I'm trying so hard not to quote this movie.
Well, yeah, the bit where Michael Ian Black is like, "Is your girlfriend still at home?" And he just picks up a condom and leaves. I just figured he was taking the rubber from the rubber.
Sounds
jar.
like the guy was trying to get it on with your girlfriend.
But I love that bit. There's two jokes.
Oh, Trevor, your dick is so thick and greasy.
Yeah.
The dialogue, like the writing, the dialogue, it's so sharp and so fucking witty, and it cracks me up. No matter how many times I've seen it, I'm fucking dying.
It wasn't making the crime of over improvising. It was like you said. You've got comedy. They're going. This is the joke we're going to do. Two jokes. I love the same joke done in different ways. Was when Paul Rudd comes back and there's clothes all over the apartment and the sound of sex. And he's just not figuring it out. He's not getting it. And it's like, and then the bit where like in the background, Kobe Smulders and Michael Ian Black, they're just having sex. It's so well blocked, you know, to do it in such a clever way. Yeah, it's so clever. I'm just dying laughing.
It's not what it looks like.
And then and then the opposite one, which is like when he and Amy Poehler finally get in the room, and there's such a funny scene as well where they take it too far about trashing the apartment while they're kissing, just deliberately throwing things against the wall.
I mean, he did that in Wet Hot American Summer too.
Right. But then you get that shot of all the clothes on the floor, and it finally comes up to the bed, and they're both fully clothed. It's a stupid joke. It's a stupid joke.
Yeah,
but
it's such a it's so funny. Like only until this like last rewatch did I really make the Naked Gun connection because we've been talking about it so much.
Right.
Like, I never really compared those two movies for some odd reason, even though they're of the same ilk.
I'll tell you the two moments that Naked Gunned it for me. That's when I texted you guys. Was like it's when he's walking and it's the guy playing the saxophone. And the saxophone
in every shot.
He's in every shot. Very Naked Gun. And then he gets like, the thing gets sprayed over him. But the other one about like, oh, the guy's got a real stick up his butt. And for the rest of this guy has a giant stick up his butt. That's a Naked Gun joke. You know what I mean? It's like, that's when I was like, okay, we're going Zucker Brothers level here.
And it still works for me. It's so fucking dumb, but in the context of this movie, I absolutely love it. I don't know I just can't figure out why my brain is broken.
I mean, it's really like if you did enjoy Wet Hot American Summer, this is right in your Q zone. It is just that same like level of comedy. No, I do love this movie. I think it's hilarious, and I think, see, Ollie, your criticism of it is making me think about the movie in a different way. I'm kind of going back over it. Yeah, this movie sucks. Never mind. This is trash. I made a total heel turn. No.
That's why I feel like no, because it's what I'm understanding is you're totally right. It's in the Q zone. If it had been done the other way, it had been in everyone's Q zone. It would have been the romantic comedy fans
But if you know David Wayne is a director, that's not his.
I mean, there's really good subtle stuff happening. Like for example, when the two brothers in the apartment, you realize, oh, the production design is deliberately
It's
bad.
crazy. Yeah.
There's this like, oh,
Yeah.
you just put three
It's like a stop
clocks
sign,
on
a
the wall.
propeller. Yeah.
Yeah, like the TV's
A
not in the
pinball
right
machine.
place.
There's no TV. Yeah. Or
Yeah, and it's like, yeah,
Just
it
a
all
brick
looks
room with
IKEA.
stuff.
You
Yeah.
can tell that they put a bookcase to block something, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But it's not. Oh, it's not like in New York Ninja where it's like, guys, we need to do this because we've got no money. They're deliberately making things
Yeah.
look like that, and it's like,
Yeah.
It works.
like,
It works for me.
I like how she runs a sweet shop, but that doesn't take any money. Everything's
It's
given
all
away.
free.
It's all free.
Yeah.
It has so many of my favorite. My other favorite gag is when Paul Rudd and Jason Mantzoukas are playing football in the office. Go along, and he just goes out the window.
Yeah, it's great. That's when Trevor walks in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like the whole like third act, like they're dating, they break up, and it's all he's like, so you went after her right away. He's like, oh, not right away. I went boogie boarding with my buddy in Miami. But then when I got back right away. But like she's like, you know where I would go if I was ever proposed to and if I was ever getting married and I had to run away and I was gonna
In this
go
very specific scenario.
and he goes, Boston? And then they cuts.
Yeah.
And it's so clearly New York, but it's all Boston signs and silhouettes and shit. He drives to Boston, comes back.
Yeah.
The bit where he meets her parents and they're fucking
Oh,
Nazis.
let's talk
That
about
was
that.
so
that, that was so funny. And actually, that
Here
was
is the driven snow.
one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Is that they go to meet her parents, and they're just sitting around the table. And there's the initial bit where the mum tries to fuck him, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
can we do a do-over?"
I've seen her boyfriends flunk the hell out of this test.
I really want to fuck your
I
mom.
want to fuck.
But no, they're at dinner, and the dad starts making these comments, and honestly, in 2025, it's hilarious and scary at the same time. Isn't her just pure white skin? Oh, my little area person, on this getting
Unmongrelized, just some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I love Paul Rudd's reaction to all that because every time he says
He goes,
something,
what
the fuck? Yeah,
Great.
Yeah, it's not even like comedy like takes like
and it just
did he
cuts to the emo brother too, just
Yeah.
sitting there like, I love that.
I can't believe you didn't tell me your parents are white supremacists. Look,
They're so what? They're a little eccentric. Yeah. Like take your squash racket and your magic markers and your floppy hat and your floppy shoes. It's so silly. Again, like this. It is like so Naked Gun Jason. Every joke is so fucking rapid fire, and it just makes this movie so much more rewatchable for me. Like every time I see it, I pick up on something new, and it's only in New York.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's almost kind of like exactly that, even like New York being deliberately a character of it, and like obviously it's being shot around New York, and they're almost using it wrong and badly. It's like they're making a movie that doesn't understand New York. At the same,
Right.
that's why I love when it ends. It's like, yeah, did you go to the museum? You can get there on the subway. You can take the line.
Yeah.
Not only in New York.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Literally the last line of the movie.
Yeah. And I love like my other favorite gags. Like they do things like I love at the end when Paul Rudd does the turn to camera and he's like, "Told you." What does he say? He's like, he goes, "Told you it was going to be a bit good story."
Kind of a crazy story, right?
Yeah, like, and it's like that was not set up at
No,
all.
no.
I love things like that. Like that, David Wayne is just so good at he understands the tropes and he understands it's really funny when you don't set up the tropes and you just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Just things like that are just really,
And
really great.
the fucking silly names he comes up with, like Tiffany's name is Tiffany Amber Thigpen,
Yeah.
but the guy's name is Egbert Flaps.
yeah.
I love David Wayne's cameo too. Right. She's like, why did your wife leave? He's like, I don't know. You'd have to ask my brother. She's like, oh, can I ask him? Is he here? He goes, yeah, he's right.
Well,
I guess she just wanted to travel more.
Yeah.
The random aside, and it's very Naked Gun because they do the exact same thing in a way, but it's where we get like the music, the song from the movie. Then it becomes the music video.
The Nora Jones song.
Yeah, and then the guys drop by the studio, and then for no reason, Adam Scott, John Stamos, and it's like in the Naked Gun, they do the same thing where they have that musical montage, and then it acts like it's an MTV video where it puts the thing in the corner.
It's so clearly inspired by those types of films, and I think it works so much for me. Like, and there's not other like modern comedies that are doing that's not like a musical biopic, like we mentioned the weird Al Yankovic story.
That's what we were complaining about. It's like but the thing is, box office $82,000.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's made less money than New York Ninja.
Which is crazy because with the popular, like, because Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd were both on Parks and Rec at the time. So this, like, yeah, I mean, none of his movies really, I think maybe Role Models was probably his biggest.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's the
film.
one it's a slightly more unconventional movie.
That's like
Yeah.
more like it's a good
That's a
movie, but it is more
straightforward
of a
comedy, yeah.
mainstream
Yeah.
comedy. This one is one for the freaks. Like
Yeah,
this
oh, yeah.
is
Mhm.
this is if you're like us and you love The State, this is for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
So the thing is, we do have a New York-based, New York shot ninja movie, a New York-based, New York-centric romantic comedy, and Wall Street, the New York-based New York
Who?
movie about New York.
Oh
And
yeah.
so the thing is like much like last week with DC, I'm
Mm.
coming in. It's a three-way tie for me right now. I'm gonna need someone to throw a grenade out there and
Well,
see where the shrapnel hits.
Here's the problem for me. Like, I picked my movie, and then Will picked his movie based off of my pick. So had I known he was going to pick New York Ninja, I probably would have picked something very different.
Is that the
That
title of the
said-
movie? I've never seen something very different. Is it good?
it's a sequel to Something About Mary. I mean, my question to you guys is how many plutonium powered sex pests are there in the other two movies?
I thought you meant current in our.
I was about to say in
current
New York.
climate.
I'd say at least
well, in
three.
the current country, they're
Quite
in
a
the entire
few.
cabinet.
I did say that New York Ninja would have been a better movie if instead of one guy, he was 4 turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did really want to continue my bit of picking a new turtle movie every
Yeah.
time we do New York.
Honestly, this was a Teenage Mutant Ninja movie just without, like I said, without the
Right.
turtles, and there was still the secret of the Ooze. And I honestly sort of speculated that this was actually Splinter's origin story. You know, it's like I could
buy
see
it.
this being in the Ninja Turtles
Yeah.
universe. To be quite
It's
honest,
pretty. It's pretty in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as Wall Street ends with a shot of the Twin Towers, basically New York Ninja starts with a shot of the Twin Towers.
And again,
where
I
Wall
like to
Street
pretend all three of
ends-
these movies are happening simultaneously.
Oh, that's the only real way to think about it. Well, honestly, I think you could actually argue that Wall Street and New York Ninja did shoot concurrently. It's around the same time.
possible.
Actually, I'm going to look up when was Wall Street made.
Yeah.
Because if it's 1984, damn it, it's 1987. God.
Damn.
So
But,
New York Ninja's a prequel.
And you know,
Exactly.
like it's so crazy that you couldn't pick 3. Like, yes, they all take place in New York City, but they couldn't be more like, you know, Wall Street was so representative of a specific time and an era in New York. New York Ninja is just like a
Timeless.
miracle that that it was like unearthed and then remade in its purest form. And they came together as just skewering a very specific genre within New York City. Like, so it's so hard for me to like pick any one over the other. They all have their strengths and weaknesses, you know?
I mean,
Said New York Ninja.
It's fucking New York Ninja, right?
it's got to be New York Ninja. I mean,
Okay.
it is.
Right.
It's got the East River. He's facepalm the East River. It's got like
It's
shot on the
so New
street.
York,
It's in
yeah.
the subway. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's shot
It's
on
the
the
most
street.
New York City movie.
I mean, it's
Yes.
yes. You know what? Actually, that's a really good point. And we honestly we just like I said though.
But
it's
all
so
New York,
hard.
but that's the thing. All these movies, even like we'll go through the also rans, they're also like just very New York City
Right.
movie.
I mean, how many movies do you know made about Buffalo? You know, it's just
Yeah.
like I know your favorite football team comes from there, Will, and
Yeah.
even you're like, I don't give a shit about Buffalo. It's like-
I mean, they haven't made the Jim Kelly biopic yet, so you know, then we'll have some competition. Actually, scratch that. I want the Bruce Smith biopic, but yeah, there's. It's unfortunate when we go to New York because that's where New York City's where everybody makes the movies. Like, you know, if people have suggestions for like Western New York
New York
movies,
State movies.
yeah, let us know because they don't make those movies. We're gonna have to pick the '98 Godzilla movie at some point, people. Please, we got to have like other options. Don't make us do it.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like just looking at, like, say, I'm looking here at on Rotten Tomatoes has got the 212 best, right? So I'm just looking at the top 20, and I'm looking at
They're
things
all New
like,
York Ninja.
but it's it's New York Ninja, New York Ninja. No, it's like Goodfellas, and it's Miracle on 34th Street. You got Annie Hall, you've got Birdman, Uncut Gems, Man on Wire, Rear Window, Taxi Driver, French Connection. You've got Spider-Man: Homecoming, The Godfather, King Kong. You know, it's just on the waterfront. I mean,
Yeah.
we could do a United States of New York episode every
Yeah.
single episode for 3 years and still be, well, we've got about 200 movies to go.
Yeah, and at that point you watch every single one of those movies. They don't do anything differently with the city itself. Sans for maybe like a Ghostbusters where they're destroying the city, or
Right.
Or an
you know,
Escape from New York, where we've
yeah,
got,
that was
which we almost
a
went with.
twist on it. Yeah,
But at this, I kind of feel like for what it is, for the love of movies, for the way it's shot, for the story behind it, the effort put into it, that you've got to give it to New York Ninja, because
Yeah.
that, like, in the way that on the same argument that I'm saying, like with They Came Together, is that I think that it's missing the love and dedication for just movies in general, shooting it in the first place, and then taking that dream and realizing it 25 years later.
I
It's
will
what
say
movies
that
are all about, man.
I will say that They Came Together had better sex scenes than New York Ninja.
Oh,
Barely. Definitely more legal sex scenes.
It was just, of course, and it's great because as a teenager, you know that anytime a sex scene is on, your parents walk in. But also as a parent, anytime something hilarious and inappropriately sexual is happening, one of my children magically appears, and my son appears in the kitchen to make his sandwich, and I'm watching this scene, and I was just dying laughing. In fact, I will go
How'd
back.
you do that last move with the...
And is it Paul Rudd and Kobe Smulders? I think
No,
it is.
they hired like actual acrobats to do that shit.
It's incredibly
gymnasts,
funny. Like the very last move, exactly when she lands between his legs, but then
Also very Naked Gun, like
yes,
Yeah.
And then the other sex scene, which is like him confiding in his bubby, his grandmother, and he goes, "What the fuck are we doing?" Like, I love that. And he like pulls her shit up, and she's like a beautifully perfect ass.
Yeah.
It was the funniest sex montage I've seen since Team America World Police.
Yeah, it's
Which is I mean, right up there.
it's
as
so
being-
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes, ridiculous, but not quite as ridiculous as New York Ninja, which is the new champion of
Yes.
New York. I can't wait
Yes.
until this comes to the ultimate, the new
It's gonna be this against
championships.
Samurai Cop.
It's-
and
yeah,
Miami
I-
Connection.
Oh, hell
I
yeah.
sincerely hope so. So yes, the movie that defines New York City and New York the state better than any other movie ever made is New York Ninja, made in 1984, released in 2021. Really, honestly, makes absolutely no sense, and you have to watch it with your friends. It is a banger of a terrible movie. I feel like we've made the right decision.
And
here.
Will, thank you for finally bringing a good movie to the table.
I got one.
That's
Ooh,
not bad.
Lincoln. Yeah, you
Yeah.
watch Lincoln twice a year, but you watch this every fucking week.
Hell yeah.
And
where I
as
learned
do
to
I
fight.
now. Yeah.
I learned to fight from this movie, and this is why I get my ass kicked every week.
And honestly, like I said, at this point, usually we would talk about the also runs. I just named 25 of them. And honestly, Ryan, like Ghostbusters one was one I was really interested you might do.
Yeah, because Will was going to pick Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I don't even really remember as being that New York for, like, compared to the first one.
It's definitely in New York. The third one is the one that's not
Right.
New York at all.
Oh, that's the one
I had
that's in,
Escape
like,
from New York we
Samurai
were going to
Times.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's I mean, John Wick movie, I mean, like, yeah, it just, there's an insane amount.
All of the sex and the cities.
Yeah, I just wonder if any of them are going to be able to actually, I mean, you did say My Dinner with Andre. I was like, no,
We're only watching the Community episode.
Yeah, exactly. Love it. I've never even heard of this movie, After Hours, directed by Martin Scorsese. What? Never
Yeah,
heard.
that I only know about that movie because we were at one point going to call Scare Us After Hours, and then I found out that this movie existed from Martin Scorsese. So I have also not seen it.
Okay.
Was it like
there you
super
go.
early in his career?
I think so.
It's not that early, 1985.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So okay. Well, look, that's it. We're excited. Next time we come around to New York, look, if anyone can find a good movie made in upstate New York, I mean, is that Synecdoche or whatever? That's
Schenectady.
Schenectady. Maybe we should do. I've heard that's like one of the best movies ever, but I'm not interested.
Oh, that's not what it's called.
What is it called?
Synecdoche. That one?
Oh,
Coin Quatsi, that one?
It's basically just like Koyawisashi, New York. Yeah.
That's
famous
the
movie.
one.
It's all the music's done by Philip Glass. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But next week, we are going to the state of Maine, where I believe our main winner was The Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Which is a great movie.
It beat out Shawshank Redemption and Wet Hot American Summer.
There you go. So, guys, what are you bringing to the table to try and take down Vin Diesel?
Yeah. So, I'll do one of the movies, which I have not seen since I was a real little kid, but it is the little girl seal best friend classic, Andre.
Yeah.
Which,
not My Dinner with Andre. But
not My Dinner with Andre, unfortunately.
It's a prequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I barely remember this movie, but I remember liking it.
Yeah.
We're watching a children's movie about a seal, but apparently it has kind of like got a bit of a reputation in Maine for being based off a true story or a real seal. So it's like, I guess it's Free Willy.
Seal's origin story.
Yeah. Heidi Klum's in it. So, I mean, so while I'm going to look up and see where we can pop. I bet it's on Disney Plus. But while we're doing that, Ryan, do me a favor. And what is the movie? I can't even remember. What is the movie?
I picked the Macaulay Culkin classic movie that everyone's seen, The Good Son.
You guys,
he plays like a total dick.
You guys have talked about this movie a lot during this show, and I have never seen it. And honestly, I hadn't heard of it until you brought it up, mentioned it to Mrs. She talked about it. I wonder if it just didn't cross the pond. For me, it was all like, oh, everything that he did was like either he was Richie Rich, or he was home alone, or he was dying.
The Page Master.
Yeah, right. Or he gets killed by bees. So this one, I'm interested to see Macaulay Culkin go dark. Kind of on board for that one. While I'm looking,
guys, it's like seeing Robin Williams do a turn in, Insomnia or One Hour Photo. But it's a fucking kid that you've grew up with in these comedy films. To see him make this turn with Elijah Wood it's
Elijah Wood as well.
Yeah, Elijah Wood is in it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm interested. So I looked up Andre. It isn't available anywhere. It is not available. I don't even know if it's available for purchase. We may all have to like borrow Will's DVD. We may have to like find if it's free on YouTube. We're gonna try and watch Andre. How about that? Okay. We can't find it. It didn't even say it was available for rent anywhere. Is it one of those movies that Harvey Weinstein has just held on to? Because like I love this seal. That is it. No. I'm not doing it. But okay, we'll try and do Andre if it's available anywhere. I'm looking up The Good Son right now on our non-sponsor sponsor, Just Watch, which is available. It seems to be it's available for rent. It's available for rent. It's available for rent. Well, it's at least available for rent. Whereas this movie, wow, that's a creepy picture of Macaulay Culkin.
He's just like,
yes. Is
it a modern day photo of him?
He's doing very well for himself.
He's a treasure.
Dad. I love Macaulay Culkin. I'm rooting for that guy. I still believe that they need to make the Home Alone adult sequel with him grown up. It's like make the real let's make it.
Probably will, yeah.
Did
they do like a Super Bowl commercial or something?
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
and it was great. So you can apparently rent The Good Son pretty much anywhere. If anybody knows, if anyone's got a VHS tape that we can borrow of Andre, should we name an alternate? Just in case.
Lake Placid.
The
only one I remember from our list.
Well, I think Casper's on the list too, right?
Oh yeah, Casper.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. Let's do Lake Placid. I've never seen.
I saw that in the theater. Devon Sawa and
Christina Ricci. Yeah, my future wife. Yes. She's gonna divorce whoever she's married to right now. A total loser, I'm sure. Yeah, so
she's great in Yellow Jackets, by the way. I don't know if
I do need to watch that.
She's good.
Yeah.
So which one we'll pick as an alternate, just in case?
I'm good with a Lake Placid.
Giant crocodile movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So just in case we can't do the adorable little seal, we'll do the adorable giant crocodile movie. Otherwise, it's The Good Son, it's Andre, maybe it's going to be Lake Placid. This week was a banger, guys. God, I had so much fun watching New York Linden last night.
Finally.
It was a ball. As always, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't subscribe right now. Get in there, jump in the comments, tell us what we should be doing. Tell us your thoughts on New York Ninja if you haven't. We're always looking for great movie recommendations, which is fantastic. Also, you can find us on our Facebook page. Ryan has actually found a place to put all his designs now, so we're going to start putting them up there if you're interested in buying some of his great designs, some of his like movie designs, and some of the or just alternate movie posters. I'm still waiting for that Lincoln one, by the way.
Yeah. That's gonna be my master, my swan song.
So you can find that's just the United States of Movie Facebook page. You can find Ryan as Rhino Digital. You can find me as That Englishman in Texas or Ollie Pettigrew on Facebook, and you can find Will as Entitled Willennial on TikTok, especially if you like to learn about random and esoteric movies like Lincoln. Outside of that one, guys, remember next week we'll be heading to Maine. Make sure you join us. But from me, from Ryan, and from Will, as always, thank you for joining us for this episode of the United States of a Movie Podcast.
Dust.